In. Holy shit, what a baseball game. Damon, you don't turn that music off. You let that shit run. You let that run. Yeah, this is the Winner's Lounge, baby. I guess we're the only beat that really is still covering sports here in Arizona right now. And I just made myself sad for no reason. Welcome in to the PHNX D-Back show right here
tonight,
on
Derek. Come on.
It absolutely is a fucking party. Diamondbacks walk off the Dodgers. Any win over the Dodgers is a great win, but a walk-off victory on a night where Shohei Ohtani struck out 3 times is especially sweet. So we're going to let that play just a little bit more. Oh, man. We had so many heroes at Chase Field tonight. We had so much incredible drama. Of course, welcome into the PHNX D-Back show. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as the mayor of B-Town. And of course, this is the show that we do here about the Arizona Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks win in a walk-off tonight over the Los Angeles Dodgers by a score of 4-3. Christian Walker, absolute stud, absolute hero. When we needed him the most, Christian Walker came through, but we did not know if we were even going to get to watch this baseball game. Damon and I were texting each other. Jesse and I were taking side bets on whether or not tonight's game was going to even happen. Why? What's the buzz around why the Diamondbacks game almost didn't happen? Bees, literal bees, not very far away from our faces. There were bees on the backstop netting tonight that caused a delay. I have, of course, I've had a lot of people ask me, like, why didn't they take care of this bee problem earlier? Where these bees apparently formed a colony fairly quickly, and it was noticed prior to the game. I think there was a little mound visit between Torey Lovullo and Dave Roberts and the crew chief there, and they noticed that this colony had started forming on the back of the net. Like, what's wild is when you're sitting in the press box, you're fairly, I'm not going to act like I was close to this bee colony, but what I will say is, like, if a ball hits the backstop hard or if one goes up and disturbs this colony, where are those bees going to go? Probably right at me. So I was very thankful that they delayed the start of tonight's game and had all of this drama in order for, for them to take care of this problem. But we had an absolute hero show up, get to save in a non-save situation before the baseball game even started. But there was a lot of curiosity. There was honestly, a lot of discussion about whether this game tonight was actually going to happen due to this bee delay. And we actually have more in regards to that. We talked to Mike Rock, which is the VP of ballpark operations at Chase Field, not a rapper. And I tweeted this out, but Mike Rock, definitely a better rap name than Drake or Kendrick Lamar. But nevertheless, Mike Rock kind of told us a little bit about this situation and gave us some information about how close this game actually was to not happening tonight.
Well, I got a call about 5 minutes before game time from our senior manager of events, and she doesn't usually call me about that time. I knew something was on. She said, "We have bees landing on the net right behind home plate." And I said, "How many?" And she said, "Hundreds. No, wait, thousands." And I knew we had a problem. So we obviously rushed to talk to the umpires because they're out there before first pitch, 5 minutes before first pitch. And that's the first discussion point is with them. And then from that point, both managers.
And yeah, I mean, like this, you guys probably saw it on the broadcast. If you weren't watching the broadcast, it was kind of disgusting to see exactly how many bees there were that had formed this colony and were just crawling around on top of each other. And again, I didn't want anything to be done to disturb that and have those bees come in my direction. The Diamondbacks ended up clearing out the entire sections below so that when they did have this beekeeper finally arrive, this man would be able to come in and take care of this situation. We didn't know if this man was a real person. We didn't know if he really existed. Apparently, he drove out all the way from Surprise, where he was, from my understanding, at his kid's baseball game. So, I mean, seriously, what a hero to drop everything he's doing to come out to Chase Field and save a baseball game. But here's a little bit more from Mike on how things kind of developed here.
It was certainly discussed, and so we're in discussions with the league office. Matt McHenry is in charge of umpires and is my contact. I was calling him about every 10 minutes, and then there's internal discussions going on with Derek Hall and our executive staff on whether the game should start tonight, and based on how long is it going to take to restart.
Do you just call one company, or did you guys call a couple?
That's funny. So Blue Sky is our pest control company. I did make a call to a competitor just to see, are you close by? But we're really glad that Blue Sky could be here. They've taken care of bee problems for us in the past, all on the perimeter of the facility, never on the field or right before a game, usually outside in our trees out in the plaza.
And that's it. This is the B game. And the Diamondbacks did, in fact, win the B game. And this might change our entire season. I don't know. I don't know the magical healing powers of bees. I've heard honey and pollen, all that stuff's good for you. But, of course, this, like you said, they've never had this happen with on the field stuff. Actually, when I was looking everywhere for the bees, and they were literally like, they could have been any closer to me without actually impacting my enjoyment of being there tonight. But the man of the hour was a man named Matt Hilton, and that is who came and saved the Arizona Diamondbacks in this game, which obviously was very important because things went our way tonight. But here is that hero, Matt Hilton, who did get to throw out the ceremonial first pitch after he was done taking care of the bee problem.
I was not, no. I thought I was just going to do my thing and cruise out, but it was fun.
What does that feel like to have thousands of people cheering for you as you're...
It was a little nerve-wracking, I'm not going to lie. It was a lot of pressure to get this game going, but I was happy to come and take care of it.
At what point did you kind of start embracing it, sort of like egg on the crowd as you were coming down? When did you sort of, when the job was done, or? It was
when we came out to the field and they had the little buggy cruising out. I kind of ate it up a little bit, so my little moment. So it was a fun time.
That was short notice for you to get on the mound.
Let me tell you how happy it made me that he ate up the moment, by the way. This man did everything I wanted him to do, outside of the fact that they really missed their musical cues with like him rising up and stuff. But they did play, I think, Hero while he was up there. They played other songs that were in his honor. It was just a tremendous night, an unbelievable night, if you will. And again, a night we thought we weren't really going to see Arizona Diamondbacks play the Los Angeles Dodgers. Tomorrow, they also have a late start, which is very, very uncommon for the D-backs, so it kind of almost worked itself out as far as the Diamondbacks potentially just heading into a doubleheader tomorrow to make up tonight's game. But instead, of course, this hero, Matt Hilton, comes out, he saves the game, and we get to watch baseball being played. Due to the delay, however, Jordan Montgomery was no longer going to be the starting pitcher. The delay was an hour and 55 minutes, just short of 2 hours. And it was a little understandable that they didn't want to get their, starting pitcher back up and ready after that kind of a delay. And they went to Brandon Hughes, who was called up today. Brandon Hughes, actually really great young man. Like, we talked to him before the game. He had like some knee problems last year that kind of held him up, but it sounds like he's very ready to get the ball. And tonight, when called upon in the first inning of essentially a bullpen game, Brandon Hughes delivered. And
he was making them look silly.
He really was. And
it was unreal.
I think my frustration there is that Brandon Hughes comes out, he gets 2 strikeouts in the first inning on a day after the Arizona Diamondbacks did not strike out a single Los Angeles Dodgers batter for the first time in Chase Field history. and he looks solid.
I thought you were going to say that you were angry because we have to watch Scott McGough pitch regularly, and this guy was just sitting in AAA.
I am very angry about that, as most Diamondbacks
That's
fans
where
are.
I actually thought you were going with
what
that.
I was angry about is the fact that later on in the game, for instance, Torey Lovullo decided to turn to, I think it was Joe Mantiply, to come back out after Mantiply had a solid inning, right? And it was like, I get that due to the bullpen game, he was on limited. He had limited arms, right? And look what ended up happening. This game goes, to 10 innings, but there's a good chance it might not have needed to go to 10 innings, right? The Dodgers only scored 2 runs on essentially what was a wild pitch, some mistakes being made, and I mean that's what it came down to tonight for the Dodgers. The Diamondbacks bullpen absolutely held the Dodgers in some very big moments, but. Again, there was Justin Martinez didn't have a great outing, and they had to go to Joe Mantiply a little bit early. He came in, he kind of cleaned up that inning again. He did ends up giving up the run that allowed the Dodgers to go ahead. But for the most part, everybody in the bullpen tonight did their job outside of Justin Martinez. He was the only one that was really struggling with his command. He had 2 walks. Really wasn't the version of himself that we've seen so far, but I got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, this bullpen tonight came in. They were suddenly asked to go out there and pitch an entire game, and they did a wonderful job. Bryce Jarvis, 3 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts. Bryce Jarvis might be that dude. He might be that dude for the Diamondbacks when it comes to their bullpen. Right now, they don't really have a lot of guys that they can trust. And I feel like Bryce Jarvis has not only become the long reliever we thought he could be, but that man that Torey Lovullo can turn to when things go bad for the reliever early, or in tonight's case, things just, start out weird with bees and, pulling back on your starting pitcher. So, again, everybody's looking for bees in the chat, which is hilarious, by the way.
Yeah, he actually, this is a can't miss night for him.
He has to show up.
That's
right?
pretty wild.
If he doesn't show up,
Huge missed opportunity.
I don't even know what we're doing here anymore. But again, ladies and gentlemen, the bullpen. But this was one of those nights where you got to really be proud of the fact that the Diamondbacks, even though their offense really couldn't get going, that they had a couple of guys really step up when they needed them to. And by that, I mean Gino Suarez, who kind of has struggled lately, and Christian Walker, who, really is that guy that the Diamondbacks are missing as far as their power hitter. I think, to be honest, both of those guys were expected to kind of come in here this season and be that dual threat as far as, the home run hitters for this team. Christian Walker did the thing tonight. He was outstanding. He comes out there, Diamondbacks get a solo home run from Christian Walker. And is Bees here? Oh, he is
here.
there.
You made me look like an idiot.
Oh, there he is. Yeah,
I just took your word for it that we were looking for bees.
I can't pay attention. I got a lot of stuff going on. Jesse's not here right now. He's in the clubhouse. He'll be here soon. But I don't have somebody else to do the talking for me during this show. So we could get hung up on a couple of things. Lourdes Gurriel, he at least took some at-bats where, he worked the count more than what we've seen him going out there and popping up on a first pitch. But 0 for 5 tonight, and it has just, again, he really, really has struggled. But nobody, I don't think, has struggled on this team more than Corbin Carroll. And I think every single one of us loved to see Corbin get that double late. But none of us were happy about seeing Gabriel Moreno hold up when he was asked to just run. Anyway, I'm all over the place.
I mean, let's talk about it. That was ridiculous. That was unacceptable. And another moment where this team is like actively trying to lose baseball games.
That's it.
You have 2 outs. You run on contact. Gabby's watching the baseball.
Your third base coach. You watch your third base coach, and you allow them.
Did he send him?
I don't know if he did or not.
I think he stopped him.
There's no way. I'm sure he stopped him because he slowed up
Exactly.
going around second base,
He did.
right? He turned and looked at Corbin's double to see if it landed, right? But at the same time, too, there's just the Diamondbacks right now aren't in a position to give up those opportunities to score. And what Damon said when we were watching the game was absolutely right. They're making mistakes everywhere. And even if those mistakes aren't a huge mistake like this, I don't know, like Blaze Alexander's mishandled double play that we don't know if he would have actually got Ohtani out at first later on in the game because Ohtani is very fast and was running up the line very fast there. But this team continues to make these little mistakes that either extend innings and lead to the opposing team scoring runs, or just in general blowing scoring opportunities for themselves. And we saw that tonight. Tonight's game, the Diamondbacks definitely looked like the better team against the Dodgers. And that's not something that you could say quite often. You could definitely say it in the NLDS last postseason. But a lot of times when the Diamondbacks win a game against the Dodgers, they typically look like maybe they stole one. You know, tonight it did not look like they stole one. They were able to keep Ohtani 1 for 5, Freddie Freeman 1 for 5, Mookie Betts 0 for 3 with 2 walks. This was a night where the Diamondbacks were able to handle a very potent Dodgers lineup and keep them from scoring. And the only way the Dodgers did score were by mistakes that were made by the Diamondbacks once again. What do you got going on over there?
Bees, his first message said, I tried to warn the queen that getting the best seat in the house would end up stinging us. I don't know where I'm at. It's dark and scary. Might be Guantanamo. Send help.
You're in a shop vac, Bees. You're in a shop vac. And I don't know if that's the proper way to handle bees. I don't know how that's, like, we got to be careful, right? Bees are very important. And when I say that, I don't mean just this bees. I mean all bees are important to the world. And of course,
he said all my homies hate blue sky.
Well, we love Matt the Beekeeper Hilton around here, so we will not accept any blue sky slander.
I'd say we love him so much we made him King Snake.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go ahead and get the King Snake. Oh, you Mike Wazowski'd me. That's not very nice. But
well, we needed the real star of the show in there. It's like Sully.
Fine. I mean, see, like while that press conference we showed earlier was going on, and of course, while Jesse was up there getting the video footage we just showed you, I was hanging in the back taking selfies with this absolute fucking hero right here, Matt Hilton. So 1 colony removed, 1 game saved. Damon, I don't do this often, but I'm going to maybe have to not veto. Let's just double it up. Can we get a second King Snake?
I guess.
Is that too much to add? That I think that guy earns it, right? Christian Walker. You should all be sea walking right now, all across the valley. Christian Walker goes 3 for 5 tonight with 2 huge home runs, 3 RBIs scored. Diamondbacks, once again, were not very good with runners in scoring position, and Christian Walker still was able to do some damage at times. He was pretty much the only one doing damage for this team at times. But again, the Diamondbacks definitely looked better defensively tonight, and the bullpen, man, even if they would have lost this game, and I'm sure that would have shook their confidence and wouldn't have been great, the bullpen, I think, could still hold their head high based on what they were asked to do tonight. And I know that it's a tall task for you as a unit to come out there on a night like this at any point and throw a bullpen start. But it's more so when you're asked to do it when it wasn't planned, when they simply are foregoing the starting pitcher, being out there and going with a bullpen game. So I just got to give credit, because we give these guys a real hard time, and I think that they did an outstanding job tonight. There's a lot of encouraging things to look at here. The Diamondbacks actually still had, what we talked about, they still had Logan Allen to go and Andrew Saalfrank.
I think those are the only 2.
Yeah. So,
and it's possible one of them was unavailable as well.
That's true, because they did both pitch recently. But my man Ryan Thompson, tea time. I mean, I want to compliment each guy in the bullpen, but specifically Bryce Jarvis and Ryan Thompson, because
they
were
Brandon Hughes, I think.
Those for 3. Coming in on the first night and silencing the Dodgers there in the first inning. Great job there. But Ryan Thompson also talked my ear off about like the Bloodline storyline with WWE and where they could go with it, and he had some great ideas. So it's like I wanted to give him King Snake just for his WWE booking, but Damon refused to do that. Then I tried to say the man pitched 2 innings tonight, had a strikeout, only walked 1, and looked just devastating at times. He like the Diamondbacks absolutely had a great game plan against Shohei Ohtani tonight, and I think that they executed it. 3 strikeouts for Ohtani, 2 strikeouts for Betts, 1 strikeout of Freeman. I mean, again, limiting the Dodgers to 3 runs, actually just 2 in 9 innings, and having those 2 runs come based on some pretty ridiculous situations, including a balk and a wild pitch, I think that's something that the Diamondbacks absolutely deserve credit for. And man, this is just a huge win when, this team needed it the most. They were starting to circle the drain a little bit. We know that they have reinforcements coming, but are those reinforcements going to come soon enough, right? Paul Sewald, we know they're pulling back on him. We still don't have a timetable on when Alek Thomas is going to return, when Geraldo Perdomo is going to return. We have an idea, but it seems like every single injured player with this team right now is taking extra time or needing extra time. And obviously, there's that situation with injury comes up quite a bit where you have a guy on a certain time frame and then, the injury either is re-aggravated or you just want to be cautious with it and giving them extra time. It's got to be very tempting for the Diamondbacks to try to get these guys back as soon as possible. And it's got to be very tempting to the players themselves to want to come back sooner than they might be ready. So at this point, the Diamondbacks just can't afford for any of these injured guys to do anything that causes them to miss more time than they're already missing at this point. And like I've said in the past, hopefully when these guys start returning, the Diamondbacks will start getting little sparks, little bursts of energy each time from these guys. I know they have to feel it tonight. I know they have to be pumped, but they also still have to go out there and play baseball this week. And that bullpen still has to do work in tomorrow night's game. Luckily, that game does start, like I said, at 6:40 p.m. for the Diamondbacks. So this actually all works out very well for Torey Lovullo. It allows them just to have that little bit of extra, a little bit longer of a sleep, a little bit extra time to recover and be ready for tomorrow night's game. And that will decide who wins this series. So the Diamondbacks still have a chance to take this series from the Dodgers. What they don't have a chance to do now, because it's over and you can't go back in time and change things like that, at least not yet, is win game one, which the Diamondbacks have not done since opening day. Diamondbacks have still not won a game one of any of these series that they've played since opening day. And that's almost as unbelievable to me as the fact that Corbin Carroll only has, what is it, Damon? 5 RBI, 25
and
games.
it should have been 6, but
it should have been 6.
Gabby
but
decided
Gabby
to not run.
decided not to run, right? And honestly, that could have cost them big, right? Like going back again, that's why I didn't want to go down a path, because I can feel myself at times being drugged down the path of negativity after a big win like that. We don't want to do that. We want to shake this thing. We want to drink beers and celebrate and do all that stuff, right? But I will say that the Diamondbacks were very close to letting this one slip away when it seemed like they might have had an opportunity to put it away earlier and not even have to go to extra innings against this Dodgers team. But that's an alternate timeline that we do not live in. We live in this timeline now, and this timeline take 10 innings to beat the Dodgers.
Someone mentioned it in the chat, but they only gave up 1 RBI tonight, and it was Will Smith and I'm not even sure that accrues to anybody.
It's not an earned run
against anybody.
Yeah, it's not an earned run.
The only RBI the Dodgers had all night was the Will Smith sac fly.
Yeah. And Red Majo 8 says, that makes me sad. They make me sad. You have no idea how sad this team makes us. You have no idea the state that this man that produces our show was in when I came back to the studio. Do you know why? Because of those missed opportunities, because of those mistakes.
I was so mad at Corbin.
Oh, it's just such a miserable team to watch at times. It reminds me very much of the bullpen struggles last year when we they're going to go to the bullpen. We know they're going to blow it.
But last year was so fun. Like, that team knew how to win games. You know what I mean? This team, like we talked about, this team does everything possible to lose games, it feels like. And the mental mistakes are just so unacceptable. Torey teams typically are pretty good at this side of the game. And, they've been so bad at it this year.
Torey
lose
teams
on the margins.
win the inches. Torey teams are teams that play really good baseball.
On the margins, yeah.
On the margins, but they don't, it might not be the most talented team. And like I said, like last year, this wasn't a team that was going to outslug the opposition, but they did all the little things right. And it does not really feel like they're doing that now. And I feel like that's the big difference between them having a winning record and what their record could be and what it actually is right now. Yeah. So Ernesto says it's up to the first base coach to also make sure Gabby knows what's up. That's a great point.
It is, but
I don't disagree with that.
It's also just such a simple baseball thing.
It's a little league fundamentals thing, right? Where it is not your job to watch, the ball. And see
you
where
should
it lands.
say
he
something.
Had 2 outs. Just run. Just fucking run. You have 2 outs, right? I mean, I think that the problem with the mistakes is then everybody's so afraid to make them. Like, one thing you could say about this team last year when it caused chaos and did all of that, they were just playing kind of recklessly because they didn't know any better and they weren't really scared to make mistakes.
They were making the other team make mistakes.
Right, by applying that pressure. And that's what sending Gabby, for instance, would have done. Even when Gabby slowed up there rounding third base, he still had plenty of time to still give him the go sign and still make the Dodgers make a good throw at home. In order
I think
to
I would have sent him.
I would have sent him too. I mean,
the ball was pretty deep in the outfield.
All of the armchair managers right now in the chat and on Twitter would have sent him. And it's easy to say that. But then if you do send him and he's out and it was a golden opportunity to score, especially with like Jesse and I don't see eye to eye on this, but with Blaze coming up, like I know Blaze hit swung at the first pitch, got an out, right? But Blaze has been pretty hot and pretty good at the plate this season. So I trust Blaze in a big situation like that. And again, there's times where you kind of need young guys like him to be in that batter's box in that situation and experience that level of pressure so that he starts to get used to it and it can start to become a regular thing to him. But yeah, there's a lot of things from tonight that I could dwell on, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do this.
I also
say ski to you all.
I also just want to mention that play in the outfield that Corbin didn't make.
Oh yeah, that Alec Thomas 99% of the time.
He slowed up on the ball and then it hit off his glove. He thought it made it look like he thought maybe he was going to hit the wall and he was like 15 feet away from the wall.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's just been dreadful, man. And except for
Corbin has excellent talent, but it goes to show that Alec Thomas is really good at center field.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Alec Thomas is far better as an outfielder.
And choosing your route to the ball is a big part of being a successful outfielder and knowing, like, even when Corbin catches the ball sometimes, there is a little added excitement that doesn't really feel like it needs to be there. And that could be said about Lourdes too. Lourdes out there is kind of wild when he's going after, a ball that most outfielders would be able to catch. He does make it look a little bit more difficult. But Alex Schmidt says, I miss Alec. We all miss Alec. We all miss everybody. I know this guy missed Geraldo Perdomo quite a bit. He was in the dugout trying to bring the vibes, though, right?
Jerry
P was trying to bring the vibes in the dugout for sure.
Dude, when is he not bringing the vibes?
No, he always brings the vibes. But I mean,
he's the vibes man.
I feel like I've seen him more recently because the surgery actually had to keep him away from the ballpark and away from the team there for a little bit. So it's just good to see him. Maria G, our favorite Dodgers fan, is here. Shout out to you, Maria, because you're a real one. Maria shows up in our chat after a Dodgers loss, and I kind of love that about her. Can we get, what is Maria's, you scroll past it there. Maria asked, where's Alec? Alec is currently out with, was it a hamstring?
She also wanted to know why we booed Shohei and Mookie Betts.
I mean, I don't have a good answer for you on that. It's because you're Dodgers.
Are we supposed to clap for him?
No, we're not supposed to clap for them. And I did want to give a shout out to Diamondbacks fans because tonight, Dodgers fans at Chase Field tried to get a Freddie chant going. They probably got 3 solid Freddie in there before Diamondbacks fans booed and shut that shit down. And that is the appropriate response when visiting fans try to come to your ballpark and chant for their player and make it all loud and stuff. I've been in that building when Dodgers fans have literally made me feel embarrassed to have anything to do with this franchise simply based on the numbers overwhelming the Diamondbacks fans and starting chants for all of their players. So it was a nice thing to see tonight. And you know what? I'm going to say this. Like, we've said it on the show before. This iteration of the Dodgers is the most likable version of the Dodgers ever. They are assembled as far as their good players go.
Stop that.
They are such nice guys. Come on. They're good boys.
They immediately became unlikable the second they became Dodgers, man.
Yeah, I know.
Maria, I would just say
I sold a shirt that I had that was a Shohei Ohtani shirt. So
Maria, I would just say, as far as you saying not clap, but the boos were loud, you, as Dodgers fans, you guys cannot make fun of us for taking over our stadium and then get mad at us when we show up and then boo your players. That's exactly what a good fan base or a passionate fan base would do.
It's our job, Maria, and you're a good one. You're a real one, but not all Dodgers fans are, and you know that. So, of course, we have to protect.
Thank you, everybody in the chat.
We have to protect the vault. We have to protect the vault. No, don't agree. Don't start agreeing with them. Don't start agreeing with Damon. They're likable guys. You know it. That's why you rooted so hard for that Shohei scandal, because you just wanted something that would make you not like him. But anyway, I appreciate your opinions, though. Not Damon's opinion, but your guys' opinions. I appreciate very much. We thank you for being here in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Of course, make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're not already. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss whenever we go live. And leave us a like, just for the fact that it is now May. It's 12:21. The air conditioning in this building has been off since 5 p.m. roughly, and I'm sitting here sweating my ass off underneath these lights. I think that deserves a like.
Late.
It's so late. The fans are all off. There is absolutely no ventilation right now happening in this room. But again, we thank you guys for being here. If you're listening on the audio podcasting side, make sure you're subscribed over there. Leave us a review. We always appreciate that feedback. And of course, those 5-star reviews help us out quite a bit. If you are new to our friends over at BetMGM Sportsbook and you want to get down on some baseball action, now is a great time. Every weekend, you can get in on the Grand Slam Jackpot promotion, a weekly bet. All you have to do is place a $10 or more wager on any player to hit a home run every weekend. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And if the player hits a grand slam on that day, you can win up to $50,000 of a daily prize or a share of that prize with every other winning bettor. Of course, if you haven't signed up yet for the PHNX or for the BetMGM Sportsbook, use our code of PHNX. Do so, and when you do sign up and deposit that $10 into your BetMGM Sportsbook account, place your first wager and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your bet loses. If the bet does lose, your bonus bets will be available once your initial wager is settled. Again, sign up for BetMGM, and most importantly, use that bonus code of PHNX. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the Sportsbook mobile app for at least $10. You will receive $1,500, up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if the bet loses. Check out the show notes for full details, and now listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Bonus bets expire in 7 days. One new customer offer only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, North Carolina, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Well, that's not nearly as cool without Jesse.
It's way better with Jesse.
He absolutely is harmonizing with me. Of course, another thing that's better with Jesse is going to Gila River Resorts and Casinos.
No doubt.
He is a wild man.
You don't want to see Jesse get into a casino. That's the last thing you want to see.
That's a different side of him most of you have never seen. But of course, that's because nobody does it better than Gila River Resorts and Casinos. They offer an authentic and immersive experience with an unprecedented level of entertainment and excitement that you just won't find anywhere else. You can check out their state-of-the-art gaming floor with over 800 slot machines, 15 blackjack tables, and of course, Arizona's largest casino sportsbook. You can also check out their wonderful dining options. And I mean, like sitting by the pool with a frosty drink, that might be the best option of all. But regardless of how you do your thing at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, head over there and let them show you what next level is all about. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for more details. Well, if you heard that special chime, that's the doorbell that lets us know it's time to get serious around here. I've sat here and complained about the heat and bees and all sorts of other stuff, but the man to bring us some more information from the clubhouse is here. It's my vice mayor and your thunderstick, the one and only Jesse Friedman. Jesse, what's cracking there at Chase Field? I'm guessing the vibes are fairly high after tonight's walk-off victory.
Yeah, the clubhouse was buzzing, Derek. After Christian Walker was swarmed at home plate, an unbelievable win for the Arizona Diamondbacks all the way around. Have you not already done this, Derek? This is low-hanging fruit. There has to be some deep puns on the show. Okay.
I did it a little bit.
As long as we check that box, I just wanted to make sure. But yeah, I mean, it really was an impressive win for the Diamondbacks in a lot of ways. I know they made their share of mistakes. I mean, it looked for a minute there that the D-backs were going to lose this game 2-1, and the Dodgers' 2 runs were going to be on a wild pitch and a balk, both by Joe Mantiply, who outside of that actually pitched pretty well today. Right. And offensively, they had all sorts of opportunities throughout the majority of this game that they weren't able to capitalize on, but they were able to come through in the end. Gabby Moreno with that big RBI single in the 8th inning to tie the game. You figure your best chance to win was probably in the 9th inning with Ginkel pitch in the top half. You didn't really necessarily want to go to extra innings. It D-backs haven't done great in those situations, and their bullpen was wearing pretty thin. But Scott McGough was able to kind of walk the high wire there in the top of the 10th. It wasn't pretty, but he just gave up the one run. And then, of course, Christian Walker, his second homer of the game. He is really on a tear at the plate right now. And yeah, I mean, he got a hold of one from Nabil Krismat and sent fans home happy after spending nearly 5 hours at the ballpark today.
That was important. But yeah, you're right. Scott McGough comes in the 10th, and it really did feel like it was over at that point. And unfortunately for Scott, it's just been a tale of his performances in high leverage situations. He comes in, he walks Mookie Betts right away. I think he walked Freddie Freeman. He gives up Shohei Ohtani, grounds into a force out, and he's on base. But it really did feel, especially once the Dodgers were able to score the ghost runner and have those two runners on, it felt inevitable. Even with them scoring the one run, that the Diamondbacks weren't going to be able to score in the bottom of the 10th, because the Diamondbacks have just been really bad. Not only, once again, late innings, high leverage situations, and in extra innings. They've just been bad in all of those situations this season.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, they were 2 for 15 in the Mariners series with runners in scoring position. They were 1 for 6 yesterday with runners in scoring position. They were 0 for 8, I want to say, with runners in scoring position in the finale of the Cardinals series. D-backs have really, really struggled to come through in those big moments recently. And today wasn't necessarily great in that regard. I mean, I think you probably already showed it. I think they were 2 for 13, which is not fantastic by any means. But they were able to do just enough in order to pull this one out. And really the most impressive part of this game for the Diamondbacks, which I didn't mention earlier, was that this turned into a bullpen game. Jordan Montgomery was the scheduled starter. He's been really good his first 2 times out. The moment that the Diamondbacks decided to scratch him and go with the bullpen instead, you figured this was going to be a tough one to win. This bullpen didn't have a ton. There wasn't a ton there. Logan Allen was not going to be available after he pitched in the game yesterday. But it was a really impressive effort all the way around from that group, only allowing the 3 runs in this game to a very potent Dodgers offense.
And I know the bullpen guys, they have to stay ready. It's part of their job, right? But to be suddenly thrust into this situation and called upon to face against, arguably one of the best teams in baseball, I felt like it was a tall task. And they stepped up and they did an excellent job tonight.
They really did. Yeah. Brandon Hughes told us after this one that he found out about 45 minutes before the actual start time of this game that he was going to be starting. And of course he was just called up today. So it's been a quick 24 hours. A lot has happened in the last 24 hours for Brandon Hughes for sure, but he came in and really set the tone. It was a quick inning for him in the first inning against obviously 3 of the best hitters in baseball in Betts, Ohtani, and Freeman. And yeah, that just kind of set the tone for the rest of the day. Bryce Jarvis was really good in this game. Justin Martinez struggled to throw strikes, but Joe Mantiply was able to kind of help get out of that mess. And then, the rest of the way, things were pretty clean. Ryan Thompson continues to be just dominant for this team. Kevin Ginkel, the scoreless 9th inning, really impressive all the way around. I mean, the offense did just enough, but the reason the Diamondbacks won this game, something we haven't said very much this year, Derek, is because of how good their bullpen was.
Right. That's it. And we got to give flowers where flowers are due and when they are deserved. And the bullpen deserves it tonight. Also, you were present when I had my very lengthy conversation with Ryan Thompson about WWE, and I feel like that might have been part of his success tonight. But you also did bring up runners in scoring position, so let's go ahead and work the count with our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union because, again, the very close one tonight, Diamondbacks win this one by a count of 4-3. They out-hit the Dodgers 10 hits to 5, which doesn't feel like what happened, but it is what happened. Dodgers go 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Diamondbacks 2 for 13. So kind of a push there on how equally bad both of these teams were with runners in scoring position. With Diamondbacks, they get that big extra one there. 2 home runs for the Diamondbacks tonight, both of them from Christian Walker. And the Dodgers struck out 9 times tonight. 9 times to the Diamondbacks 5 times tonight. So again, this is a pretty close game and one of those types of games that the Diamondbacks haven't really won this year. So it was great to see them not only win a close game once again, but win a game against the Dodgers that's this important.
Yeah, it really did. It really did feel important. I mean, for the Diamondbacks, given how much they've struggled to win these kind of 50-50 games recently, to be able to actually pull one out, one that if they had lost would have been one of the more, added to the list of pretty frustrating losses for the team this year, where you feel like you had a lot of opportunities and you also feel like you made some key mistakes along the way. You might have already talked about this, but Gabby Moreno in that 8th inning made what I saw as a pretty crucial base running mistake. Gabby, after tying the game at 2 in the bottom of the 8th inning with that single, Corbin Carroll hits a double down the right field line. Gabby Moreno is not fast necessarily, but he's reasonably quick for being a catcher. And he just slowed up between first and second base. It looked like he looked over his head, which is not something you should be doing in that situation. There were 2 outs. You should just be running as fast as you possibly can. And, Tony Perez Chica made the decision to hold him at third base. Honestly, I kind of feel like the D-backs should have just tried to send him anyway, given that there were 2 outs in the inning. Yeah, but that shouldn't have even been a difficult decision for TP. Gabby Moreno should have been able to score, not necessarily easily, but I think he had plenty of time and should have been able to score in that situation. And if that happens, then the D-backs are up 3-2. Theoretically, they win this one in 9 innings.
Well, I hypothesized about that, Jesse, and I mean, obviously, you have the fact that you could send him there and at least put that pressure, right on the Dodgers. And I get it. I get that you don't really want to make more mistakes. And I think that that's what my concern is that the Diamondbacks have been making mistakes. And then now that they've been making mistakes, it makes them overthink situations like this that you wouldn't typically overthink, right? Like normally when you look back at this team last year, this team's sending, Gabby, I feel like every single time, just to apply that pressure to the opposition.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it was necessarily an easy decision on TP's part there, but yeah, Torey after the game said that they've talked about that internally, they've dealt with it internally, and that Gabby was definitely slower I'm not sure if he was looking at the time from home plate to second base or home plate to third base, but that Gabby definitely, his time was not nearly as fast as it usually is. And that's something that just can't happen in that situation.
Yeah. He definitely turned and watched that one to see if it would land. And it was like, brother, if it doesn't land, the inning's over anyway.
No reason to do that.
Yeah. So, but we did talk about Torey scratching Montgomery before the game, and here's some video of Torey explaining his decision to do so.
Jordan Montgomery is working hard on his own, gets signed by us, continues to ramp up, and there's a lot of intensity to get him ready, and things were condensed, and we just felt like, in this particular situation where it all added up, we didn't want to do that to Jordan. And Doc handles his team well, and they're just in a totally different bucket with their young starter who's probably been in spring training the entire time, ready to go.
And it makes sense. It definitely makes sense. But did you get any word after the game? Is this going to move Jordan Montgomery out to start tomorrow and push Zach Gallen back a day? How is this going to impact the starting rotation going forward?
Yes, we did. Yeah, Jordan Montgomery will start tomorrow for the Diamondbacks. We found that out after this one, and it is just going to push everyone else back. Okay. So a bit of a tough spot for Zach Gallen. I mean, he goes from starting tomorrow to now starting on Friday because they have that off day on Thursday. And based on what we know about Gallen and how routine-oriented he is, and specifically about, I don't think he especially likes to have extra days between starts like that, especially 2 extra days just sort of thrust on him out of nowhere. Obviously a tricky situation, not much the D-backs could do, but yeah, Gallen is going to start on Friday now, and presumably everyone else is just going to be pushed back in the same way behind him. So yeah, you can understand where Torey's coming from here. I mean, he's basically talking there about how Jordan Montgomery's ramp up this season was not normal exactly. And how, I don't know, maybe if Gallen were the scheduled starter today, given that he had a more normal ramp up, at least he pitched in spring training, that, they would have been comfortable having him wait a couple of hours and get hot again and get ready for this game.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the D-backs decided they didn't want to go that route with Montgomery. The Dodgers were fine doing that with Landon Knack. I believe this is his third career start in the majors. He's a younger guy. He pitched totally fine in this game for the Dodgers. But now you've got Montgomery going tomorrow, and you feel like you have a shot here to win the series.
Any benefits there to Gallen considering the hamstring injury, or at least the scare that he gets a couple of days off extra? I mean, I feel like this is, aside for Zach and him not liking, getting out of his routine, I feel like this is kind of ideal for the Diamondbacks given their situation.
That is a great point. Yep. And Torey also mentioned that. He said that with Gallen being a little bit banged up with the hamstring, they didn't hate the idea of giving him an extra couple of days. So that was absolutely a factor as well.
Yeah, that sounds right. But Torey also talked to Seawalk before. Was this before his at bat? Jesse, tell us a little bit more about what we're about to hear.
Yeah, this is phenomenal stuff. We got a little bit of this from Christian Walker because we went in the clubhouse first, but then Torey gave us a little more clarity after the fact. This is Torey talking about what he told Christian Walker right before he stepped up to the plate and hit that walk-off home run.
Yeah, did he tell you exactly what I said to him?
No. Like let it fly or something.
Yeah, it's one of those fun baseball moments. I told him to hit one to the effing moon. Basically, I said you're locked in. Nobody's a better hitter on this field at this point in time. Take your normal at bat, because sometimes you try to force ball over to right field, get that runner scoring position, but I felt like that was a really good matchup for him because as locked in as he is, and he did. So we had a moment there afterwards, and we laughed about it.
Hit it to the fucking moon, Jesse. Oh my God. Like every time, Damon just said it, every time we're upset with Torey, he does something that makes me want to fucking run through this goddamn wall right behind me, Jesse. It's incredible.
Yeah, I figured you'd be all over that line. When we first talked to Walker himself in the clubhouse, he did talk about this. He said that Torey told him to go up there and just be free and treat it like a normal at bat and let it fly. But yeah, Torey dropped the exact line, which is absolutely phenomenal stuff. So yeah, and I mean, how poetic, right, for Christian Walker to go up there and literally the first pitch I think it was the first pitch he saw, a changeup that was not a terrible pitch necessarily. I think it was off the plate inside. It was down, at least at the lower part of the strike zone, but he seemed to be looking for it and he timed it up perfectly. And his second home run of the game, he sends everyone home happy.
It was a changeup. It was an 81 mile per hour changeup, but it was the third one in a row he had seen, Jesse. So he got one for a called strike, one for a ball.
Okay,
they were all the
thank you.
same pitch. And man, did he fucking clobber that pitch, and it was very, very great to see. And I mean, given everything that happened tonight, it was a weird night of highs and lows, and then highs again and lows, and ups and downs. But the B delay that you and I got to witness, I mean, I talked about it a little bit, but I mean, have you ever seen anything like that in your life? I've never seen anything like that in my life. That was incredible.
I've never seen anything like that in my life. Of course, we talked to everyone about the B situation, which we have some clips to share here in a second. One guy we don't have a clip for, though, that I'll just relay myself. Brandon Hughes, I asked him if he's ever seen anything like this before, and he said no. He's never been a part of a B delay, at least not to the magnitude of what we saw today. But he said that, I don't know if it was during the game or after the game or when it happened, but he said that one of his friends texted him I think a picture of bees just sort of doing their thing the way that bees do. And his friend was telling him about how bees, like the way that they go about everything and the teamwork that they put in, that he was sort of inspired by that, apparently. And, he talked about how the Diamondbacks pretty much matched that with how they did this today, right? I mean, Christian Walker, I guess he was the queen bee, right? With a couple of home runs, but
we call him a
was
snake
very
around here, but same thing. Yeah,
we do call him. Yeah, maybe we should have changed it to queen bee for today, probably. But
what a missed
yeah, I mean,
opportunity.
especially especially in a game where, where this wound up being a bullpen game for the Diamondbacks, there were a lot of different guys playing a role. And we'll hopefully get that clip out on Twitter. That was like a poetic line from Brandon Hughes. So I want you guys to hear it directly from him.
No, you're absolutely right. And there's so many things, Jesse, we could learn from Bees. Bees have clear roles, right? They all know their role. And that's something that the bullpen could very much use, right? We know about communication, right? Bees are very good at communicating. The Diamondbacks, as we've seen at times this season, not so good at communicating. They also rely on each other and split up tasks, trust one another, and they're resilient and adaptable. And that's what we saw tonight out of the Diamondbacks. They were resilient. And that resiliency is something we haven't seen out of them much. I think that's the reason why when we see the Diamondbacks go down by a run, or we even see them give up the lead and tie, have the Dodgers tie the game, then, here we are once again thinking, yep, it's only a matter of time until the Dodgers take the lead and win this ball game. And I mean, that resiliency has been what really has been lacking to make, I think, fans and people like myself believe in this team late. And hopefully games like this can make them believe in themselves and start making us believe in them.
Leave, you mean?
I'm sorry. Yeah,
make sure that's clear.
God, I hate this night so much. But speaking of be leaving, Christian Walker had some more from the clubhouse on the B delay, right?
Yeah.
Weird for sure. But then I heard that if we canceled it, then we were gonna have to play on the off day. So I was like, let's get this thing in at all. Whatever we got to do, let's get this game in. So no, weird, but props to the guys for shutting it down and then getting it back on and being ready to play for sure.
What were you guys doing?
Chilling. Some of us were in the cage, just laying around. Some people were up here talking. It's tricky because we didn't get an official timeline. We heard 2 hours at one point, but the last thing you want is you maybe, go take a little nap and wake up and first pitch is 10 minutes away. So it's a little bit of checking out and a little bit of checking back in, but just try to compartmentalize.
It is a little weird because a baseball player's day is kind of like that, right? Like they have these times where they're just kind of sitting around waiting to do stuff. And then they have other times, like there is a lot of stop and go for them throughout the day, but a 2 hour delay, that seems pretty hard to like keep yourself locked in and engaged. And I'm not surprised that this game ends with a 3-2 score or 4-3. 4-3.
I'm just really thankful that that this game didn't go longer than it did. I mean, the moment we went to extra innings, it was like, of course, the game that started 2 hours late has extra innings, but it was still wound up 3 hours. Granted, I mean, if you count when the game was actually supposed to start, it was about 5 hours. But I don't know how much more I had in me tonight, Derek. So I'm thankful that it ended as soon as it did.
You and me both, pal. You and me both. I guess before we move on, Christian Walker, has he had run-ins with bees before, Jesse? Is that what's happening?
I felt the need to ask at least someone in the clubhouse if they've had any run-ins with bees or if they've ever had to play the role of beekeeper themselves. And here's what Christian Walker had to say.
Incidents with bees in the past?
No. My wife and I bought a farm recently, though, and beekeeping is on the list of things to figure out. So I've honestly been watching a ton of YouTube videos on it.
You could have done it?
Hey, I'm not saying that. But, it was cool to watch him do it and get those bees out of there for sure.
You saved a lot of time, Christian.
I need to borrow your bee suit.
He drove from Surprise. I mean.
Oh, did he?
He did.
Wow. Yeah, that was. We were trying to figure out like how long it was going to take, pest control, all that, but it worked out.
He's learning about bees, but obviously not fast enough. Jesse, could you imagine? Like, we already know what the reception was like for Matt Hilton, the bee man, right? Could you imagine what the reception would have been like if it would have been Christian Walker? Christian Dixon Walker getting up on that cherry picker and getting those bees out of there, Jesse, the crowd would have lost their mind.
Yeah, I feel like we would have had an equipment issue there. We not only had the beekeeper arriving, but I believe we also had the beekeeper's equipment coming all the way from Surprise, which felt like a necessity in this situation. I'm not sure what Christian Walker on his own was supposed to do in that situation. You just, bring him up the scissor lifts and just tell him to go at it. I'm not really sure what that looks like.
That man has an entire bar in his locker. I've seen it. The man could easily just keep a bee suit on hand just for emergencies. Maybe it doesn't have to be a bee suit. Maybe it can be just a general hazmat suit should any situations arise. But I feel like Christian Walker, of anybody in that clubhouse, would be able to deal with sewage leakage, bees, bears, anything. I don't know why bears would be at Chase Field, but like in case bears show up, I think Christian Walker would be the one to deal with it. But I'm also not surprised at all about, one, Christian Walker buying a farm, or two, the fact that he's already done independent research on beekeeping.
Yeah, I mean, he's watching YouTube videos, man. He's getting into it. So yeah, I would have, maybe I'll pick his brain tomorrow before the game of how he would have attacked the situation, like what the YouTube videos, what he's learned, and what his approach might have been.
A shop vac? Would you have known to shop vac it? I don't know. That's not something I think a lot of us think about. But of course, shout out to our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union for sponsoring our numbers, and also for making sure that we are all financially taken care of. For more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make your life better. They got me started on my home ownership journey and my savings journey. They can get you started as well. Look to Desert Financial for checking and savings accounts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and so much more. And when you open a free checking account online right now, you get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200. And also, I know gas is expensive. I know everything's expensive right now, but a great place to save money on all of that is at Circle K. And of course, if you join the Inner Circle program for free by downloading the Circle K app today, terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. You can save 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups and save 3 cents off per gallon every day after that. You can become a premium member and save 5 cents off per gallon, or you could just steal Damon's telephone number and plug it in, whatever. But regardless, you can save lots of money on gas over at Circle K. You can also save money on their snacks. You can buy 5, get a 6th one free on a selection of Circle K products like pizza, coffee, and ice cold fountain drinks. So make sure to sign up for that Inner Circle today. All right, Jesse. Well, like I said in the past, I've proven to be a liar, a notorious liar. I can't be trusted. But one thing that doesn't lie around here is the numbers. They never lie. So let's take a look at Jesse's number for tonight. Jesse, what do you got for us?
Yeah, tonight's number is 217. And 217, Derek, represents the combined batting average of Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, and Freddie Freeman through the first 3 games.
Owned!
First 2 games of the series, I should say. And I think all the hits are singles, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have it all in front of me right now, but yeah, the Diamondbacks have not. I mean, they certainly didn't lose yesterday's game just because of the top 3 hitters in the Dodgers lineup. Dodgers got contributions really up and down the whole way yesterday, but a big part of beating this Dodgers team is holding those top 3 hitters in check. And not only have the Diamondbacks done that pretty well so far in this series, but of course they also did it pretty well in the last series between these two teams, the NLDS, when Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman combined to go 1 for 21, if my memory serves me.
Owned
of course,
again.
Ohtani is now part of the group again, or is now part of the group. So, that doesn't exactly make the situation easier, but the Diamondbacks have very much held their own against those 3 hitters so far.
The Diamondbacks really struggled against the Dodgers, the latter part of the Dodgers lineup yesterday. And that was what was really frustrating, is when you can hold Betts, Ohtani, Freeman, Will Smith, you can hold those guys relatively quiet. It's more frustrating that it's, the guys in the second half of the lineup that are getting on and scoring and causing things like yesterday's loss. But Diamondbacks did a great job. They've done a great job so far. And I mean, again, isn't that the frustrating part, Jesse? Isn't it frustrating that you can focus your energy on their star players and, successfully perform against them and then just kind of let it slip, later on in the lineup? I think that's kind of what we've seen out of this team all season long, which is the potential for how good they can be shines through, but then they just have these kind of crappy nights, crappy performances, bad mistakes, things piling up that then, I feel like just extend innings and give the opposing team more opportunities to score. And they're doing that. They're scoring and taking the game from the Diamondbacks late. The Diamondbacks, again, they technically gave up another lead in this game, and the Diamondbacks just can't stop giving up leads. They don't know what it is to hold a lead at times from start to beginning, unless it's a 15-run lead.
Yeah, they need to take a cue from the hold the line crew, right? And we know how to hold things, I guess. Yeah, this is there has been a narrative with the Dodgers of their lineup being a little bit top heavy, but I think that has manifested itself at times this season. When I talked with Jack Harris previewing the series on the record the other day, that was something he brought up, where the Dodgers have lost some games because it was really just the top few guys, and then the bottom of the order didn't do much. But on the whole, like Teoscar Hernandez, Will Smith, who came into today hitting 367 in the cleanup spot. Max Muncy has pretty good numbers. Andy Pajes has come up from the minors and been excellent so far. Even Miguel Rojas, who's known as a light hitting shortstop, has pretty good offensive numbers early in the season. So I never really bought in too much to the Dodgers having, like 3 good hitters and then everyone else. Three elite hitters, like 3 of the best hitters in baseball. I guess they are still separated in that sense from everyone else. But the Dodgers lineup from top to bottom is still pretty formidable. And we saw that yesterday. And, I don't expect that to change moving forward. I think this Dodgers lineup is pretty well built start to finish, and that's one of the things that makes it so difficult.
So I guess when the Diamondbacks have an opportunity like this to finally take a series against a team like the Dodgers, right? Like, of course, what, pressure too much tomorrow? What do you think? I mean, I think my concern here is the moving around of the starting rotation might have an impact bigger than we know. And maybe Jordan Montgomery is fine tomorrow. I don't know. But what you said about Zach Gallen early seems a little bit concerning, just in regards to him being out of his routine and how that might impact his start on Friday. But what do you think we see out of Jordan tomorrow?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, with Gallen being a little bit banged up, maybe it is helpful. Maybe he winds up being even better on Friday than he might have been pitching tomorrow. And Montgomery, I don't know. I mean, I don't think necessarily that this is going to doom him, warming up and getting ramped up for this game and then not making the start and having to wait a day. I don't think that's necessarily a terrible situation for him, but it is still a little bit unconventional, and we won't know until we know. So it'll be interesting to see how Montgomery responds.
One thing you and I noticed tonight, though, was the Diamondbacks during the B delay, they did very much lean into playing the Snakes Alive documentary up until we got to the part with the Dodgers. Smart move to shut the documentary down before you gave that Dodgers team that was just sitting there watching it along with the rest of us a little extra fuel for the night. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's hard for me to believe that wasn't intentional, right? I mean, it kind of looked like they were
at that moment, and we still
looked
sat
like they were
and did
teeing up
nothing
the
for
whole
more time.
Yeah, it looked like they were teeing up the whole series, and I mean, this is a 2-hour delay. They could have ran through the entire Snakes Alive series and still had time to spare. Yeah. Instead, we had to deal with, like the dance cam and all the other, DJ playing the same songs on repeat. But
hey, when he started playing Black and Yellow when they showed
funny.
the bees, that was the best part of the night. It was the best part of the night, besides Christian's walk-off, arguably.
Yeah. I did. I found an article about the last time, or at least one time, where a similar situation has happened at Chase Field. There was a B delay that lasted only a few minutes, just about a decade ago, back in April of 2014.
Was it
not behind? Yeah, it was in the outfield. AJ Pollock. The game had started already, and AJ Pollock just discovered a swarm of bees, I think, around the home run porch. and I guess they were able to take care of it. It wasn't a particularly long delay from what I was able to read. But they did mention that "Let It Be" was played through the speakers on that day, and we did hear that song.
We did hear it today
as well,
yeah.
and I, it wasn't just "Let It Be" and "Black and Yellow." They were having all sorts of fun with the bee puns, as you have to. You have a game delayed by 2 hours because of bees, Derek. You have to embrace every bee pun imaginable. And
I'm sick of them.
Between
I've had my fill between you and Jack and Alex. I'm done with you guys. I'm done with the bee puns. I've had it. But
does that mean do I need to change my Twitter bio? Am I allowed to keep my Twitter bio as Diamondbacks bee reporter for another 24 hours?
Get him off my screen. I don't even want to deal with this man anymore. No, you do have to change that. You better change it before I see it, because I think you've gone mad, and I think the entire press corps went mad waiting for this game to start. But I'm glad it did start, because the Diamondbacks definitely needed this kind of win. I mean, I think I saw it from our PHNX account. I think I saw Leah Merrill tweet it out, but like, the Valley needed a night like this. And it wasn't just the silliness of the bees, which actually was a very cathartic kind of comedic thing for a lot of Valley sports fans. But we very much needed to beat the Dodgers and have a night where we could just breathe, where we could just not go to bed angry because our sports teams make us sad.
Yeah, and I mean, it reminded me of last month, and we were all here at Chase Field, and it starts raining with the roof open, and it's utter chaos, and people are heading for the exits, and nobody knows what to do because we don't know what this turf is like when it gets wet. They wind up calling the game. Of course, that was an exhibition game, not a game that actually counted, like the one that we played today. But yeah, it's been a pretty wild start to the year at Chase Field, Derek. We've had a rainout, the first rainout in Chase Field history, of course. And then we had a 14-run inning on opening day. And then we had a near 2-hour delay because of a swarm of bees that formed right when the game started. It's like they knew exactly what they were doing, Derek.
Typical.
This swarm did not exist like even 25 minutes before the game started.
Yeah, people were like, why didn't they get rid of it beforehand?
In the area. Yeah, it's because it literally, and Torey Lovullo talked about this after the game as well. He was asked, like, when did you first notice this? He said it was after the national anthem. So we're talking like 6:31, 6:32. You're inside of 10 minutes before first pitch. And Torey Lovullo said that one of the bat boys pointed up to it and said to him, like, you seen this beehive situation that's like forming on the net behind home plate? And Torey said that he looked at it and he saw it, and then he looked at it like a minute or two later, and it had doubled in size. So the bees knew exactly what they were doing, Derek. They wanted to show up right on time. They wanted the best seats in the house, perched up right there behind home plate. And the Beekeeper had to ruin their wishes, unfortunately.
Jesse, I do have one more piece of information to share with you, and that is that in many cultures, bees are considered bringers of good luck and wealth should one land on you or your property. In Native American mythology, the bee is often referenced in cautionary tales to warn people to not disrespect nature. And Jesse, people are disrespecting snakes. So the bees are here to warn us to not do that. And obviously to bring the Diamondbacks a little bit of good luck at work tonight. Hopefully carries over and the Diamondbacks can win this series against the Dodgers, because boy, how huge would that be right now with the way things are going for this team. You have anything else from the clubhouse there, Jesse?
Yeah, I think that's it. It'll be interesting to see what this weekend is like with the whole starting rotation being pushed back. But yeah, what a huge lift it would be for this team if they were able to salvage a series win against obviously one of the best teams in baseball and the Dodgers. Montgomery against Yamamoto. It should be a lot of fun to watch tomorrow.
It's going to be a fun one, so make sure to keep it locked right here. Of course, we'll be back here with another post-game show, hopefully not so late. I mean, it is May, right? We've already crossed over into May. That means, as you know, the purple hair dream, that's dead. That's gone. Maybe we'll do something else, but I don't know. But it's officially gone now. So Of course, we do thank you guys for being here in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at @cap_caveman with a K. Jesse is at Jesse N. Friedman. Of course, the people's producer Damon is at Damon Dog. That's DAWG. We are Damon's dogs. Bark, bark.
Bark.
Our show is at PHNX_DBacks, but of course, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you again for your time tonight. We appreciate you guys stopping by. We will see you tomorrow for hopefully another winning edition of the postgame show. And until then, hope you get some sleep. Have a wonderful day tomorrow. We'll see you back here. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you walk off the motherfucking Dodgers. Let's go!
We all silly like the mayor.